What is up, guys? It is Tony here, and today we are doing another show idea proposal. This is a show idea that is actually kind of new, but at the same time it's an adaptation of an older video style I used to do on this channel, where what I would do is I would take a Call of Duty pre-recorded commentary. It's not always going to be Call of Duty, it'll be different games. What I would do is I'd basically commentate over it and take three random topics, put them in the title of the video, and discuss them throughout the video. And I'm going to be calling this Tony Talks. It's kind of alliterative and it's cool. It's a little cool title. It's kind of gimmicky and it's kind of bad. I talked myself into bringing it from cool to bad. That was kind of weird. But yeah, so this is going to be a new show proposal once again. And if you guys like this and want to see more of it on the weekly basis, go ahead and like it and comment it, and we'll implement it into that weekly show thing. But anyway, that's pretty much that, and let's move on to what the content is, what we're going to be talking about. You can see it in the title. This is actually a very important topic that I really need to touch on for multiple reasons. For one, it's just an important topic in the community of YouTube where I'm deeply involved, and for two, it's something that I'll probably be running into soon, and I already am running into. It's basically the concept of YouTube money and whether or not YouTube's a real job, and whether it's reasonable for someone to take YouTube seriously and make money from it, or if it's reasonable for someone to make money off of it, period, whether they take it seriously or not. And then also that'll segue into the whole Nintendo issue, because I want to discuss that a little bit too. But anyway, let's get right into it. Let's start talking about the whole YouTube thing, just YouTube in general, and the concept of making money from YouTube. Usually you make money from, a job, an actual job, where you put hours in and you work and you have to deal with a boss. Those are the three hallmarks of working a job is, hard hours, hard labor, and I guess hard leadership, if you will. And those are the three hallmarks, I believe, of a job, in my opinion. And with YouTube, let's first talk about hard work. YouTube, a lot of people think, you just take, some content, you play a game, you record it, you upload it, that's it. It's so easy. Well, the reality is sometimes, yeah, it is that easy. And sometimes people make money from that, which is kind of silly. I think that in this landscape, in this ever-changing landscape of YouTube, you have to put more and more time into your videos to actually get that result. So I think that's actually a dying thing. I think that nowadays people are putting a lot more work into their videos. And when I mean a lot more work, I mean if you're doing Minecraft videos, you're probably, creating these maps or finding these maps and just really putting a lot of time into installing mods and setting up servers and things like that so you can play with your friends. If you're doing Call of Duty videos, to stand out in the Call of Duty community, you have to put borders, you have to put, amazing graphics. Sometimes you have to do editing with montages that takes a lot of time. You really have to put a lot of work in to stand out. To give you a real-world figure, I mean, the average, 1 to 2 minute edit of an episode can take up to 20 hours of sitting in front of a computer and editing. That is literally, I'm talking about 20 hours in front of a computer. I'm not talking about 20 hours as in you edit for 2 hours, you sleep for 8 hours, you go out for 5 hours, and you come back and you edit for another 4 or 5 hours. I'm talking about you are sitting in front of that computer for 20 hours, whether it be 2 a day for 10 days, or it be 20 hours in 1 day. You are sitting there editing for that long. And other videos, I mean, it could be less hours, but you have to do it more frequently. I mean, if you're a commentary channel, some people upload 2 commentaries a day. Those could take 2 hours per commentary. That's a lot of time. I mean, that's 4 hours a day, plus you're also managing comments and things like that. So, I mean, it could add up. It becomes a part-time job very quickly, sometimes 40 hours a week, sometimes more. I mean, I think I put upwards of 80 hours into my YouTube channel a week when I'm going hard and I'm putting videos up once a day. So, we want to talk about hard work. I think that's enough qualification for hard work, at least in my case. I'm speaking for myself here. I mean, not everyone is like this. Some people do get away with not putting much work in. But most of the people who make a lot of money from YouTube, I know they put the work in. I mean, you could just tell by their videos. If you've done it, if you've been in the shoes of a YouTuber, you know what these people put work, how many hours of work they put into their videos. So that's one. That's hard work. All right. The second, what was the second one? I think hard hours. I think, like a lot. Wait, no, it wasn't hard hours. What was it? Shit, I forgot what the other one was. Well, I know one was hard leadership. So let's go with hard leadership. The hard leadership thing is kind of an interesting thing because a lot of people go, well, on YouTube, you could just put one video up a week. You could put one video up every 2 weeks, one a month if you want. And, a lot of the times people think that YouTube's this place where you can just do whatever you want. You don't have a boss. You could just be like, some sort of like hippie-esque type of dude who just does whatever he wants and makes money. Well, here's the thing. With YouTube, with any job you have, my grandfather always told me this, with any job you have, you always have a boss. It doesn't matter if you're the top of a company, if you're the president of the United States, you always have a boss. Your boss is your customers, the people who are below you, to be honest. They're always your boss because they're always judging you. They're always judging the way you boss, in a way, if that makes sense. When you're doing YouTube videos, your boss is your viewers. Your viewers are constantly criticizing your videos. It almost becomes like extremely stressful having to deal with people commenting and hating or criticizing the videos in some sort of way, the videos you put so much time into, and you have to deal with that constantly. I mean, the minute your videos start to slack, the minute you start to slack, your viewers are going to notice it and they're going to stop watching. You're going to lose the revenue you got from working so hard. So the fact is that to say that YouTube's this place where you don't have any leadership, you don't have any boss, you don't have any stress to deal with, I mean, I think it's the complete opposite. I think it's one of the worst places to work in terms of stress. But at the same time, it could be the opposite. If you make it if you do it the right way, it could be the most rewarding job out there. That's how I feel about it sometimes. But at the same time, I also get the other side of it. Sometimes I do get very stressed out by YouTube. But there's a good way to manage that, and you got to find it. But at the end of the day, I'd say YouTube constitutes as a real job, quote unquote, because it kind of falls into those three criteria I came upon. I think those three criteria were hard work, hard time, and hard leadership, and I kind of covered time pretty well, and work. So yeah, I mean, it does fall under the concept of a real job. In addition to that, I mean, when it comes down to it, you're not making like a wage. You're not making like $8 an hour or $10 an hour. You're making piecework. You're based on how much how many people watch your videos. You make a certain amount of money. You make CPM, and because of that, I mean, it becomes an even harder and more laborious job because and risky job because you're relying on the inconsistency of YouTube hype, really, and it's sometimes hard to hold on to that hype. I've been through that many times. I've been through huge peaks in success and then huge drops where, I went from being able to support myself on YouTube money and pay for gas to like thinking, holy shit, where did all that money go? And sometimes it's really hard to grasp that. And the minute you lose it, it's very stressful. It's a very up and down job, and it's very stressful. But at the end of the day, if you enjoy it, I think it's worth it. And that's, the fact of it. So the reality, in my opinion, is this is a real job. You put a lot of time into these videos. If you're making money, you're probably putting a lot of time into these videos. And because of that, you deserve some sort of compensation. And not to only say time, what about money? Sometimes you put some insane bucks into making videos between buying better equipment. I mean, I'd say 90% of the YouTubers out there that you watch that are, big on YouTube have insane computers. And I guarantee before they started YouTube, they did not have those computers. And it wasn't because of the money that they got. It was because they were sitting there going, I have to render these 1080p videos that are hours long. And when I throw them into my HP Pavilion $400 laptop, it takes, days sometimes. So they bought a new computer, and now it takes, maybe 10 hours, maybe 5 hours. So, I mean, a lot of the times, you invest money into your channel. I mean, PVRs, recording devices, Elgato, whatever you want to call it nowadays, Roxio, all these new capture devices, software for editing, games. Simply the fact that you have to buy more games to entertain people more of the time, and touch more audiences out there, microphones, etc., etc. It's a lot of money as well as time. So it's good to get some of that money back and possibly make a profit in the process. So I think entirely, I think it is a real job to some extent, and it should continue to be a rewarding job, because if it isn't rewarding in any way, people are going to stop. I mean, the hobby only goes so far. I mean, not many people stick with a hobby forever, especially if it's not rewarding in any way. I mean, the reason why people enjoy hobbies is because it's rewarding. I mean, you enjoy it, you have a good time with it. And when you're just losing money, you're just dumping money into, a hobby, quote unquote, and all you're getting is stress out of it, it just stops being a hobby. I mean, for, maybe the first year of doing YouTube, you could really enjoy it, but I think it starts to go downhill after a while. And you start to realize, it'd be nice to have something to keep you going. And that's what I look at YouTube revenue as, is something to keep you going and to keep you motivated to some extent. And you can still enjoy it while you're doing that. It's not all about the money. And that's kind of where I'm at this point in time. Now, about the Nintendo thing, I mean, in my opinion, it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. I mean, they're totally in their right to do it. I mean, it's their content. Sure, go ahead and screw yourself over. But, I mean, they're getting free advertisement from some of the biggest. I'd say that 90% of the games I've bought in the last 2 years were because of YouTubers. Simply, I saw someone playing Arma 2. Got it. Game Dev Tycoon. I just put a video of that up on my channel. Got it. Prison Architect. Towns. A lot of indie games. Minecraft. And even some, bigger titles. Borderlands. If it wasn't for YouTube, I probably would have never bought any of these games. The only games I bought on my own were Call of Duty. Call of Duty and Halo. Otherwise, it's all YouTube that advertised these games to me. And it was free for these companies, and it made them profit. So I really don't understand why Nintendo would do that. It's their call. Watch them get lose a lot of advertisement, and lose a lot from this. And hopefully they'll learn their lesson. I'm not saying that they're in the wrong for doing it. It's totally their decision. But I mean, I just think it's an awful decision. And I think a lot of the other developers know it's an awful decision, and hopefully they won't jump in on this, because it could really ruin the way YouTube runs now, which is, I think, perfect, because everyone benefits from it. The viewers, the marketers, the content creators, and the developers of the games. So that's pretty much it. That's the video. That's my Tony Talks episode 1. If you want to see more of this in the future, go ahead and like it, and I'll see you guys next time.